News on Anthony Joshua's next opponent.
Well, announced this morning that it's Andy Ruiz, Jr., this Mexican living out of California. One loss on his record, and that loss, I watched the fight against Joseph Parker for the WBO title, boxing away from home in New Zealand against a New Zealander. Funny enough, he lost a split decision. It was close, and I think maybe Ruiz just nicked it, but that's boxing. The fact is, he's a live opponent. In my view, and as you know, at my age, I only ever tell the truth, he's a tougher fight than Jarrell Miller. He's got much more mobility. He's got much faster hands. He's not as big as Jarrell Miller, but Miller was quite ponderous. I think he's going to give AJ some problems, but I think AJ is the best heavyweight in the world, and he should be able to beat Ruiz, but not a walkover. For the fans, I think they're getting a better fight than the original.
And there is a form line, of course, because Anthony Joshua fought Joseph Parker.
Well, Parker went the distance, the only fighter to go the distance with Joshua. So if you was looking at it from a horse race or a dog standpoint, how's he done when he's boxed or raced him? You'd have to say Ruiz is right up there. He's ranked number 12 with BoxRec, which is the independent ratings, which I take more notice of than anybody else because it's not influenced by promoters, it's just on numbers. He's number 12, but when you go down those 12 fighters, if you take out the Tyson Furys and Deontay Wilders and the Dylan Whites, the next three great heavyweights, they're all committed elsewhere. And the next, Joshua's already beaten. Brazil and people like that, they've already been beaten. So Ruiz is there on merit. He's going to bring with him the chance, in his mind, of being the first ever Mexican to win the world heavyweight title. So he carries the hope of the Hispanics on his shoulders, and he's up for the job. He boxed 10 days ago. He's fit, he's well, he's in training, and he fancies it.
And what was Anthony Joshua's reaction to this opponent?
He said, just write down the name I'm fighting on a bit of paper and I'll see you later.
Simple as that?
Simple as that. He's the ultimate pro. He didn't care if I'd have said Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, it wouldn't have made any difference to Anthony. The one thing I will say, where he is technically very shrewd, he's been training for an orthodox fighter. So people like Ortiz is a southpaw, and when you're only 4 or 5 weeks away, you've got to train your whole of your, and Anthony's very thorough, and as are his team. So he's happy that Ruiz is orthodox, because that's what he's been training for, an orthodox fighter. Other than that, he's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head he can bash in.
Can you look beyond the 1st of June at all?
I'm always looking beyond the 1st of June, because I think the ultimate thing in any sports business is logistics. So who is it going to be next is the question.
Come on then.
Well, we'd love Deontay Wilder, but I don't think they want anything to do with Anthony Joshua. I mean, that's just the truth. We would love him. We've offered him $100 million for a 3-fight deal. He's walked away. He's going to fight for a lot less, because once you get in the ring with Anthony Joshua, if your dream ends, that's the end of your gravy train. And people like Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury's got another good excuse. He's with a different network, and he's got a very easy, comfortable fight for his first fight and getting loads of money, so good luck to him. Dylan White, he'd be up for fighting Joshua. I'd rather see Dylan White in with Deontay Wilder, because I think Dylan's going to be the number 1 mandatory, and I think Dylan White beats Deontay Wilder, who I don't particularly rate anyway, but I think Dylan White would have a great chance, and then there'd be this massive fight, because obviously we could quite easily make Dylan and Anthony. Outside of that, maybe Ortiz takes a sensible tablet and says, yes, I'll fight. Big name in America, Cuban heavyweight, is good. And the one danger out there, the one big danger for all of these blokes, including Anthony Joshua, is Alexander Usyk. This kid can really fight. He's the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. He's got that tough Eastern European approach. He dismantled Tony Bellew for the cruiserweight title, and he's now in training camp with a team of legitimate people making sure that he can put on 25 to 30 pound, and as a heavyweight, if he retains his boxing skills, this kid could be Joshua's biggest rival. He will be mandatory for Anthony Joshua, because the rules of boxing, if you vacate after you're a super champion at the low division, you get number 1 slot. That's a hell of a fight.
Could we ever see Joshua versus Fury?
I'd love to. I'd love to do the fight tomorrow, because I like the fight a lot. I think Tyson Fury is a very elusive character. I think he's difficult to hit, but when you do hit him, he tends to go down, although he tends to get up again, which is great for fans. The big thing about Tyson Fury is he can't punch. He doesn't have any power. And that's a real big obstacle if you're fighting someone who can punch like Anthony Joshua. Does the fight happen? I have my doubts. I don't think Tyson Fury, he's not silly. What Tyson will do is he'll ask for so much money to make the fight undoable, and then he'll always have the chance to say, well, I was up for it. He just didn't give me $1 billion. And that will be his excuse.
So final question then. Anthony Joshua would fight absolutely anyone, if you could make it.
Anyone. Absolutely anyone. This kid is the best I've seen. He's also one of the nicest people I've ever met. But when it comes to professionalism, his legacy, what he wants to do, he wants to be, more than money, he wants to be the unified heavyweight champion of the world. There is no name that he will not just say, okay. As long as he's got a 12-week camp to prepare, he's as happy as a pig in whatever. He just likes beating people up, and the kid can properly fight.